What's up, everyone? This is Ray Baguio, and you're listening to Digitally Matters, a podcast for anything digital that really matters to you and your business. Let's start the show. The guest in this episode is writerpreneur Jonah Chipeco. Let's learn more about her and listen to the conversation. I've known her, I've talked to her for just once, I think, and this will be our second time talking over the phone. And I'm interested in what she's doing. She's helped me with a project before, and I would like to know more about what she does and any interesting stuff about her.
All right. Hello, Ray. So I'd like to be called a writerpreneur
Oh.
because I write. I'm a writer.
Mm-hmm.
I started freelance writing back in 2011 on top of my day job as a marketing manager. And eventually, around 2016, I decided to go into full-time freelancing, but not as a writer. I realized that my dream was to become a trainer and a public speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to apply for jobs as a business writing trainer. And eventually, I realized that I wanted to serve entrepreneurs and freelancers more because back when I was a business writing trainer, I would have employees and company representatives join my workshops, but I wanted to teach freelancers and entrepreneurs on how to get more clients through writing. So
Okay.
it's not really a straight path like imagining myself where I'd become. And when you said earlier, Ray, that this is only your second time to talk and we haven't met in person, I really hope we had met face to face because my background in marketing really is face to face engagement or
Oh.
direct marketing.
Oh, okay.
So that was for almost 10 years. I'm used to going to physical events. I'm used to going to conventions, and I would set up a team with mall booths
Mm-hmm.
in different locations nationwide. But I think I chose this path also because I knew there was potential in moving your business to digital or online.
Mm-hmm.
When I mentioned earlier that I shifted into full-time freelancing or entrepreneurship in 2016, it was because I experienced an accident on my way to a meeting in 2015. It was raining and
Mm-hmm.
near MRT Kamuning, I slipped and hit my back. I had to go through a therapy for
Oh.
6 months. And that means no work, no pay for me. But what really kept me afloat was my freelance writing gig. And I also have an online retail business. So I also sell bags and shoes online.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said it's good that when you have digital platforms, when you can sell your or market your services online, that gives you more time and capacity to pursue what you really love. And for me, it's
Mm-hmm.
writing and teaching. Plus, my background in marketing was something I used to also rebrand myself and market myself as an entrepreneur or someone who trains people and helps them to write.
Thank you for clarifying that, Jonah. You mentioned about instead of just calling yourself like a freelance writer, you'd rather have that mentality of an entrepreneur writer, right? Right, a
Yes.
writer who has a mentality of an entrepreneur. Now, this is not part of my question, the questions I have in mind, but can you give us some sort of a distinction between just the regular or the usual freelance writers and an entrepreneur freelance writer?
I think when you're into freelancing and you're starting,
Mm-hmm.
you're usually after clients, you have the mentality of wanting to get than giving. An entrepreneur
Oh, okay.
thinks long term and would understand that you would need to give value first and you wouldn't recover your investment as fast as you think you would. Some would say that getting into freelancing is free or you wouldn't require any investment, but I look
Mm-hmm.
at it differently.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as a business wherein I would need to invest time,
Mm-hmm.
effort,
Mm-hmm.
and even money to build my brand so that it would be something that is sustainable
Mm-hmm.
and something that is not just short term
Mm-hmm.
but is backed up by a 3 to 5 year business plan, because that's what I learned and that's what I was doing when I was a marketing
Mm-hmm.
manager. Then we're always used to setting long-term goals and knowing where our team would be in the next 3 to 5 years. And I think that mindset or mentality should also be applied in freelancing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that we want to just get out of getting um, short-term gigs or part-time income. If you really want to have this as a sustainable effort, you should treat it as a business.
I see. So freelance writers who would want to make this their long or make this their business should ideally have their own business plan for this and not just worry about how and where to get the next client. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, because sometimes we are driven by urgency
Mm-hmm.
and we are looking for clients because we want to pay our bills this month
Yes.
or for the next month.
Mm-hmm.
But what will happen if in the next in your first 3 or 5 months you don't get clients, for example? So are you gonna give up? Or if you take the mindset of an entrepreneur and they say that it would take sometimes years to build your credibility for people to know about you or recognize your brand and
Mm-hmm.
eventually um, support your business or patronize what you do.
I agree with you. A shift of mentality, a different mentality would have a different success for them or path for them. And for a freelance writer who just wants to get gigs every now and then, the challenges are different, way different. They need to have clients. They need to have their pipeline of clients filled up each month. But for an entrepreneur whose whose services revolves around writing, what challenges do you see that are not really common for just freelance writers?
When you're building a writing business,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'll just tell you first, like, for you to have a big picture of what I do. So
Sure, sure.
aside from offering my writing service, I create information products like ebooks and online courses. So that's how I monetize
Mm-hmm.
my skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have mentoring programs. I coach other aspiring freelance writers, and
Mm-hmm.
I also have entrepreneurs on board who would want to learn content marketing
Mm-hmm.
or writing. And I think one challenge would be project management.
Oh, okay.
Although if you're a freelance writer, your challenge will be handling multiple clients at a time to get the monthly income you desire. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're an entrepreneur, you're supervising or monitoring different areas, not just client management, but you're thinking about your structure. How can you how can your workflow or processes handle the number of customers you're anticipating? I
Mm-hmm.
also deal with people because I work with a team.
Mm-hmm.
So a major part of my role is management and giving direction to my team members so that
Mm-hmm.
there's regular content coming in our platforms. Like we maintain blogs,
Mm-hmm.
e-newsletters, we create free ebooks. So that's something I'm very hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, checking your profit and your
Oh
expenses.
yeah.
So the finance side is
Yes.
something that I also needed to learn.
Mm-hmm.
including taxes and filing that and filing those permits. So you're looking at a different, a higher, yeah, a higher level than just working alone as a freelancer and limiting yourself to offering writing services. The same challenge is we would want, maybe a freelancer and an entrepreneur would want to reach a certain income target. But
Mm-hmm.
for freelancers, it's usually an easy path or one step formula, which is usually send X number of proposals and
Mm-hmm.
then get one out of five clients, let's say, to say yes to your proposal.
Mm-hmm.
When you do this as a business, the risk is higher because I'm also developing products and offers
Mm-hmm.
which I need to test first, and I wouldn't know whether the training programs that I create
Mm-hmm.
be would generate as much response as I wish I could, or as I targeted to. Although when it comes to income,
Mm-hmm.
because when you create information products, it's a one-time production period, one-time creation period, but you can resell it for a long time. So when you create one ebook, for example, and it will just take you 3 months to work on it,
Mm-hmm.
but it can stay on the shelf. You can sell it on your online platform for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made me really motivated to shift into entrepreneurship, because I realized that I could not multiply myself. I could
Okay.
not, my time is limited if I would do freelancing and offer my writing services.
Mm-hmm.
I want something I can build that allows time flexibility
Mm-hmm.
and also enables me to um, work from anywhere and just say, if I want to take some time off, I'll just maybe close my promotion, stop promoting, and let the business run on its own.
So basically, you have control of your business, right? How things will flow,
Yes.
the workflow, the clients. Okay, that's actually ideal. That's actually good. Taking into consideration the things you shared with me, the things you do, you have online products, you even sell online bags and shoes. You mentioned, right? And you have a mentoring program, and then you also manage teams or projects. So I can just only imagine. I did some of these, and it's already overwhelming me. Every time I do this, I need to take a break. Come on, I mean, I need someone. I need some people to work with me on these stuff, on these projects, and it can be overwhelming, really. So I am interested. I've been trying to look for ways to manage things efficiently, not just things, but the projects, people, and personal or business projects. But it's really not an easy task, an easy feat. So I would like to know if you follow a certain routine that you follow each day to help you get things done.
Right. Before I share the routine, can I go first to like a framework that I learned
Sure,
to
go
be
ahead, go
able
ahead.
to manage all these.
Yes, please. Go.
So when I started my business, I actually enrolled for a course in project management from the Project Management
Ah, okay,
Institute,
okay.
because I realized that I have a lot of tasks, and one big takeaway from that course is learning the basic pillars of project management.
Mm-hmm.
And those are three components. First is scope of work, second is your time, and third is your resources. So to be able to work on any task or activity that you have, you need to take a look at these three.
Okay.
First is how much work needs to be done. What are the tasks that you need to focus on? And
Mm-hmm.
second is the time. Is the time you allotted, does the time you allot correspond to the number of work that needs to be done? Because if you're only limited to, let's say, finishing a goal or a project for 3 months, but
Mm-hmm.
your scope of work or the number of activities you have is a lot, they don't match and something's gotta give. It's either you expand the time
Mm-hmm.
or you minimize your task. And the last is your resources. So when we say resources, we don't just talk about our budget or how much money or capital that we have. You consider the skills you have, you consider the people and the connection that you're with, and try to make them work for you
Oh,
to
okay.
achieve your goal. So when I feel overwhelmed, or when I feel that I need to complete a project or finish a goal, I look at these three areas. I look at my scope of work. Am
Mm-hmm.
I focusing on the priorities? Are there things I can eliminate?
Mm-hmm.
I look at the time frame. When it comes to business, I don't usually want to fast track its success, meaning I don't want to push for high numbers when
Mm-hmm.
I know that my resources or the capacity I have wouldn't match my desired outcome. So I don't like getting burned out and pushing myself to really perform or produce or create. I want balance in my business.
That's
So
nice.
I need to make sure that my resources are ready and
Mm-hmm.
can match with the work that I have at hand. So that framework has really been helpful for me when it comes to adjusting the activities I do as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And but somehow it provides check and balance and makes me look at where I would adjust or subtract and or add to the tasks or the resources that I have. I hope you got something from that, but
Actually, yes. Actually,
I'll
yes.
answer
Yes.
your question about routines, and let
Okay.
me think about that for a moment.
Okay. Okay. Actually, I got a lot of things about about what you just said, even without answering the question yet.
Usually, scheduling and organizing my day
Uh-huh.
really helps a lot.
Okay.
When we had the pandemic, I decided to take on a course about intuition, managing using intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the exercises encouraged in the course is to visualize how you want your day to go. Like if you have a scheduled call, or if you have a deadline that you need to meet that day,
Mm-hmm.
somehow imagining how it will go like could help you adjust to it or make your day flow smoothly. So that's one exercise that I adopted as part of my routine
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
recently,
Okay.
so that I won't get overwhelmed or go into the day's battle without anticipating what I'll expect.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are things that happened which didn't go as planned or which I didn't visualize, it's okay. I would have a calm manner to deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
because I somehow took like a few minutes to prepare or condition myself mentally.
I see. So basically, what you're trying to say in terms of managing your time or managing things using intuition, you visualize your day. Like if you think of if you consider success or being successful or being productive in that day, you should have done these things or these items or you've accomplished these things. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes,
Okay, okay, good, good. And how do you go about this? I mean, how do you plan this? Do you take a picture or do you have like a visual vision board or do you write this down on a journal or do you use some apps?
I keep a journal.
Okay.
So I have a notebook with my notes whenever I have ideas. But it's as simple as um like recalling the things that you have to do in your mind, and taking some time to pause, and somehow it's like having a prayerful attitude
Mm.
of what you'd want to accomplish for the day.
Okay. And you do this each day or do you plan this let's say a week ahead? Let's say for the next week you already have like an idea what you'll do on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
Ideally each day, but
Okay.
there are some days, especially on weekends, when I don't want to do it.
Okay. Okay. Well,
and just
it's
and just do
forgivable.
whatever.
Okay, it's forgivable. I mean, you need to take some time off, right? It's really it's also part of being productive. Having the right amount of rest is actually going to help. Whatever amount, I've realized this. Even if I only follow, let's say, currently I follow the one thing idea. That's one of the things
Mm.
that I do. That if there's I need to have one single task or one single activity that if I've done it before the day ends, then I'm good. The rest will be just bonuses. But even with that, if I have lack sleep or didn't rest during the weekends, even that one particular even one item per day is not really that easy, especially if you don't have that energy. So I think you can forgive yourself if you're being somewhat lazy or just slacking off during the weekends. I think that's forgivable, right?
Yeah, but I think if you want to be productive for the day,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I learned as well is instead of focusing on the tasks you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
aim for happiness. Like
True, true. I agree.
what can make you happy for that day? Because there are studies that shows that happiness equates to productivity, or people who enjoy what they're doing or love their job would
I love that.
naturally perform
I love that. I
more.
love that. Yes,
So
yes.
it's not about like trying to set your to-do list for the sake of like having a checklist and ticking off everything and accomplishing everything, but more than performance,
Mm-hmm.
it's about the pleasure or the happiness that you get out of what you're doing. If for example in a day, what can simply make you happy is sharing lunch or breakfast with your kids, for example, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe caring for your pet in the afternoon. I think that should be included in what you'd want to do in a day aside from work. Because I know sometimes when we speak about productivity, we just think about what we need to do for our jobs or for our business,
True.
but it has a lot to do with caring for ourselves as well. We're
Mm-hmm.
humans and we're not machines
Yes, yes, I agree.
anyway. So we need to take care of our well-being if we want our business to succeed.
I also follow the same logic because based on that book, I haven't read the book. Just a disclaimer. Atomic Habits, like doing small habits, can actually make a big difference for whatever you're trying to do. Like there it gives an example of when you exercise, you're actually looking forward to you're going through pain, some sort of pain or challenges for a foreseeable or future, what do you call this, pleasure or enjoyment, which is you have that figure that you've always dreamed of, or you have that weight that you've always wanted for yourself. Instead of when you eat a donut, you enjoy the pleasure of the donut, but you're actually
Mm-hmm.
just going to regret the consequences later on. So the pleasure or the joy that you mentioned, the happiness, is actually very crucial when it comes to forming a habit or making yourself go I mean do things and be productive. Why not, reverse engineer it? Do some things that you love doing, like what you said, that will make you happy, and then consider it as
Mm-hmm.
something that would lead you to being successful or productive during the day. What's your relationship with apps these days?
I love apps. If I have a database of all the apps I use, and I think they're about the apps I use and purchase. They're more than 40 right now. So I love using tools for marketing, for project management,
Mhm.
for productivity. And do you want me to share my top five list of
Yes,
apps?
please. Yes, please. I would love to hear that. Please.
Okay, one app I use every day is Asana.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it has the same function as Trello.
Yes. Okay.
So the tasks I need to schedule are
Mm.
there. So when I open my laptop, it's usually the first app I open. I need to check on Asana.
Mm-hmm.
Um Next would be Canva. I
Cool.
design a lot for
Mm-hmm.
my marketing materials for my website. So it's an app that I also open every day. As a writer, I have Grammarly Premium.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that is also working hard for me whenever I'm using my laptop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also use Airtable.
Cool.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but
Yes.
it has a more advanced function than Google Sheets.
Yes. Yes.
So, for uploading content assets, for checking figures and numbers, inputting data,
Mm.
I I use Airtable. I also have a knowledge-based tool called Nuclino.
Oh.
So, when you're working with different teams and you want them to look at the same reference material, and instead of using just Google Docs,
Mm-hmm.
I use Nuclino. This is an alternative to Evernote. I prefer Nuclino.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So that's five: Asana, Canva, Grammarly, Airtable, and Nuclino. You've always wanted business writing. You've always been in that space, in that industry. Marketing and teaching is has also helped you find your way in this industry, in this business that you're in. But are there people who have inspired you or seek some guidance from every now and then? Any influences you can share with us?
When I first leaped from working as an employee to entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
I looked for mentors that I can follow. So that's in the top of my list of things to do. And the
Oh, okay.
first person that I discovered and eventually introduced myself to was Ginger of Manila Workshops,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because we pretty much do the same thing. She manages Manila Workshops and I want to go into training business.
Mm-hmm.
She also blogs and I also write. So that was a common ground that I found between us. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I would casually connect with her to ask for advice. And since Writing Hacks Academy, my online school started, so I've already told her about my plans from so she's pretty much a part of my entrepreneurial journey since I started in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
For international influencers or coaches, I read a book from Dean Graziosi.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about millionaire success habits. I also like listening to Marisa Morgachoyd about branding
Mm-hmm.
and online business. So those are the people that I really love to learn from. I'm subscribed to their emails
Mm-hmm.
and I check their advices from time to time.
One thing I observed from you or about you, Jonah, when I go on LinkedIn or on Facebook, one thing I observe about you is that I don't see much content from you that are just random. You don't seem to share any content out there that has nothing to do with what you're doing or not aligned with uh with your business. Is this something you do intentionally, or it just so happens that you're not that active online?
I'm so glad that you noticed because I'm really intentional when
Good.
I write or when I publish content.
There you go. Okay.
So, the power in writing lies on purpose and intention.
Mm-hmm.
So, before you create any piece of content or
Mm-hmm.
write a message, you should be able to know first what your purpose is. And if it doesn't serve that purpose,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be effective. It wouldn't serve you. So why spend your time working on it if you're not expecting any feedback or a reward from your effort? I think that's one of the things I would want I really want to speak strongly about when it comes to creating content
Mm-hmm.
or online marketing, because I see several entrepreneurs or online marketers who just post randomly, and when I ask them if they have a content plan or if they they think about what to write before publishing it,
Mm-hmm.
um, and if they don't have it, I really feel that they're losing time and opportunity
Mm-hmm.
um, when it comes to marketing their services using content. So as much as possible, it's good if you know the strategy
Mm-hmm.
behind it. That's why I got interested to content marketing aside from just writing. So it's like a combination skill of
Mm-hmm.
writing and marketing. And I got interested with it because I have experience in both.
And one last thing, I already have my takeaways from this conversation we're having right now. But for those who might be listening to this, what advice can you give them for someone who would want to follow your journey or your path or the journey you're taking? What advice or guiding principles would you leave us with?
All right, I have three tips for those who are aspiring freelance writers or entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
The first is confidence. You
Okay.
have to believe in yourself first before you encourage others to believe in you. Sometimes your line of work now may be different from the path that you'd want to pursue, and you'll have to go through a transition stage. But you need to believe yourself in who you want to become so that people would also see you as authentic and believe in you and what you do. Then other people will be willing to support you.
Okay.
Will just come to your path. Second is content. So for me, rebranding myself into a writer and an entrepreneur from being a marketing practitioner was easy because I highlighted my experience and credentials that's connected with what I'm doing now. So I want content marketing or creating content to be part of your strategy when it comes to promoting your products or services. And last
Okay.
is productivity. We need to work smart as an entrepreneur or freelancer. There are activities that will create results for us and help us achieve our goals faster. If you identify those and make proper use of your time, then you succeed faster. I mean, I always tell people that money is not our goal, it's not our enemy. Also, we can always recover money or finances, but time, when wasted, is gone forever.
So that wraps up our show. That's it for now, and thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you'll join me again next time here on Digitally Matters. This has been Ray Baguio, and until next time, ciao.